community. You're here for your Pivot family and your Pivot friends, right? So with that, okay, awesome. Nobody has any questions. So I'm not using anything. Like I said, if you have pillows or blankets or bolsters or anything like that that you would like to surround yourself with, if you have a candle or sage or Palo Santo or anything that you want to, essential oils, anything like that that you want to use to enhance your experience, a little light music sometimes is nice. Again, I'm not playing anything for you guys this morning, just to kind of bare bones it for the people that might be new to yoga. So I'm gonna just flip my sweatshirt off because it's already warm in this room and the sunshine is pouring in. So go ahead, bring yourself to a really comfortable seated position. This is called easy pose. It's just like crisscross applesauce, whatever you want to call it. You can also sit in what is called Virasana or hero's pose, which is your hips to your heels if this is more comfortable for you. This is actually how I'm going to sit because this is more comfortable for me. And once you're there, I want you to close your eyes. We're starting. And with your eyes closed, I want you to find, without moving, like find in your body, find your sits bones. And just notice if they are tilted back towards your toes, if they're tilting forward towards your knees, or if they're tilted straight down to the floor. Can you draw them down towards the floor? Wherever they were, wherever they are, draw them down towards the floor. And then find your belly button. And I want you to envision that there's a string attached to the inside of your belly button, and someone is pulling your belly button towards your spine on the back side of your body. So we're not sucking anything, and there's no sucking. It's a drawing in of the abdominals. And then from there, I want you to find your sternum, your breastbone. It drives straight down the center of your chest, and I want you to envision that there's a string attached to the middle of your sternum, and someone is pulling that string straight up to the ceiling and then slightly forward. And then lastly, I want you to find the space between your earlobes and your shoulders. And I want you to create as much additional space in that place as possible. So separate your earlobes from your shoulders. Now, keeping all of that in mind, don't force any of this to happen. This is just creating some additional space and aligning our spine. And then notice what's happening to your breath. Can you bring your breath purely to your nose? Inhaling through your nose, exhaling through your nose. If your eyes are closed, gently flicker them open. And if you were just taking a soft gaze in front of you, find your focus. From here, coming to all fours. So plant your hands on your mat and line up your shoulders right over your wrists. And then slightly bend your elbows. You don't want anything to be locked out, so you don't want to force this to happen. I want it bent, okay? Spread your fingers nice and wide. And then your shins should be plugging down into the ground. So I want you to really press your hands, press the tops of your feet, press your shins into the ground, okay? Now keep your navel drawing up into your spine. Take a deep breath in and drop your belly, tilt your pelvis back, lift your face. This is called our cow spine. You do that on an inhale. On an exhale, you go the other direction. Draw your belly button up and in. Drop your tailbone. Press into the floor. Drop your head. And this is your cat. So when anyone tells you to do cats and cows, that's what this is. Inhale, drop the belly. Arch it up. Exhale, lift the belly. Drop the booty. Drop the head. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. One more. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. Inhale, come to your neutral spine, so just back to that starting position. From here, you're going to press your right leg back, flex your toes down to the ground. You want your heel to be in line with your hip if possible. If it's not possible and it has to be a little bit lower, that's totally fine, but really press back through your heel as if you're standing on the wall behind you. And now you can stay here, or if you're feeling balanced and feeling like you're ready to take the next step, you float your left hand, so the opposite hand floats forward. Think of yourself as growing really long and keep your belly button lifted up into your spine. Take a deep breath in, and on your exhale, draw your knee into your chest and then bring your elbow to tap your knee. If you're not doing the arm, just bring your knee into your chest. And then inhale, press everything long, grow really tall. Exhale, elbow and knee come to tap. One more time. Inhale, growing long. And exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, grow long. Now, point your toe. Bend your knee. You could stay here. You could also reach your left hand around and grab a hold of the top of your foot. You can stay here. Or third and final option would be to kick into your hand, arch the spine, lift your heart forward. Keep breathing here for 3 and 2 and 1. Slowly release everything back down to the mat. Now, just hold here for a moment and notice if there are any sensations in your right leg, in your right arm, in your left arm, in your left leg, in your belly. Notice what your heart is doing and your breath, right? And then send your left leg back. The opposite leg stamps on the wall behind you. Press back through your heel. And then if you are doing your arm as well, if you're feeling nice and balanced and knowing that this side could be completely different than the first side you did, you might have been really balanced and strong, and this side you might be a little wobbly. It's okay. There is no perfection, right? Perfection does not exist, especially in yoga. So once you're here, wherever you're going, if you're doing the arm, wonderful. If you're not, don't worry about it. Inhale. On your exhale, draw your elbow and your knee together. Inhale, grow long. Exhale, squeeze together. Inhale, grow long. Exhale, squeeze together. Inhale, grow long, really, really long, really, really long, and then point your left toes. Bend your left knee. Take your right hand, if we're doing that hand, grab with your right hand your left foot. Squeeze your heel to your booty. Maybe you stay here. Or maybe you kick into your hand. Keep breathing for 3. For 2, keep kicking, kick as hard as you can, and release it down. And again, just take a moment, pause, see where you are, see how you're feeling. From here, tuck your toes. We'll move to downward facing dog. Now this is a pose that if you have or have not done yoga before, you likely know what this pose is. We lift our hips, and you want to think that you're in an upside down triangle, firmly pressing your hands into the mat and allowing your heels to drop low. Now, I have really flexible and open hamstrings. You may not. If you don't, you might look like this. This is not incorrect. This is absolutely fine. Okay? This is what you want. You want pressure in your hands, and you also want to feel like you're pushing down with each individual finger pad, not just the heel of your hand. If you press only with the heel of your hand here, you will get wrist pain and you'll feel like you have carpal tunnel at an early age, right? Press in with your finger pads, press in with the back of the middle of your knuckles into the ground, okay? You want to feel really rooted, really connected here. So, whether our knees are bent or not, you want to feel like there's weight in your hands and weight in your feet, and that your sits bones, where we found at the top of class, are shining literally straight to the sky. That is your ultimate goal, is to get your sits bones pointing directly up. Okay? Beautiful. From here, I want you to walk your feet and hands together. Walk your feet and hands together, walk your feet and hands together, walk your feet and hands together. So now we're in a forward fold. From here, bend your knees gently and just roll up through your spine. Bringing yourself to stand. When you get to stand, roll your shoulders up and down your back, your palms face forward. This is Tadasana, or mountain pose. Find your navel, again, draw it in. Lift your sternum up and forward. Drop your shoulders, create space between your earlobe and your shoulders. Inhale deeply through your nose, sweep your arms high. On your exhale, leading with your heart, forward fold over your legs. You can bend your knees as much as you need to here. Inhale, your hands are coming to your shins. Press your chest forward, trying to straighten out your spine. Elongate through the crown of your head, pulling away from your sits bones. Exhale, let that go, forward fold. From here, on your inhale, your right foot steps way back, coming to a low lunge. Okay? Drop your back knee, untuck your toes. So now we're in a nice low lunge. If you are feeling open in your hamstrings and your hips right now, you can press forward. You don't have to though, okay? Planting your right hand, lift your left fingertips up and take a gentle twist. Now, if reaching all the way up for you is too much, if that's too much too soon, just place your hand on the top of your thigh and you can use that as leverage to get yourself that little twist. I should have prefaced this with, if anyone is pregnant, please don't twist. No twisting if you're pregnant. Or if you have back injuries, don't twist. Wherever you are, slowly release. Both hands come down to the ground. Tuck your toes, lift back up. You're going to step both feet back into what is called a plank pose. We all love plank poses, right? Now, if it's too much to do a plank, you can always come to a modified plank, which is just your knees tapping down. If you are taking a modified plank or a full plank at any point, what you want to think about is that your shoulders and your hips are in one line, not this, not this. This is not a plank, okay? Now from here, everybody drop their knees, even if you're in that regular plank. Slowly, as slowly as you can go, lower yourself down to your mat. Untuck your toes, release the tops of your feet. Gently engage your upper back and lift your chest forward for a baby cobra, called Bhujangasana is what this is called. And then press yourself back, press into the mat, press into the mat, press into the mat, use your abs. Press back, tuck your toes, and we're back to downward facing dog. Now, if you need to use your hands to help you for any of this, feel free to do that. We're going to lift our right leg behind us. Doesn't have to be crazy high. And then we're going to draw our right foot forward to step. So now we're on the other side of that low lunge where we started, right? Drop your back knee, untuck your toes, and this time we twist over to the right side, lifting our right fingertips up. And again, if that's too much, you can place your hand on your thigh and use your hand as leverage for that twist. Sorry about that, you guys. Slowly untwist. place your hand down, tuck your back toes to lift back up into that lunge, and step it back together. Forward fold at the top of your mat. Now, the crown of your head is going to lead you to come up to stand, sweep your arms high for that reversing swan dive, and then on your exhale, bring your hands into heart center. Inhale, one more time, we're gonna take the other direction. So inhale, arms lift up. Exhale, forward fold through center. Inhale, your hands come to your shins, flat back. And then exhale, forward fold. Now we're taking the other side. Your left foot is going to step back on an inhale, landing in your lunge. Now, we have our two options, right? You can drop your knee and take the same thing, or you can keep your knee lifted for a little bit more active option this time, and then twist to the right. Notice your breath. And then untwist, gently placing your right hands down. Step your right foot back, coming to that plank pose. Again, you can do all of this with your knees on the ground. It's absolutely fine. If you are doing this from that full plank, we're going to take a full chaturanga. So a chaturanga is one of the most incorrectly done poses in yoga. So for a chaturanga to be done correctly, you want to shift your weight forward and then bend your elbows to a 90-degree bend and stop and pause. From here, you slide yourself forward and come all the way to your upward facing dog. Your thighs should be lifted up off the ground if you're in an upward facing dog. From there, we lift our hips, engage our abs, press up and back, downward facing dog. Other side, inhale your left leg this time. Doesn't have to be high again. And then exhale, step your left foot to the inside of your right hand. Twisting to the left. Breathe, and then plant the left hand. Step your right foot to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale on a reverse swan dive, lead with the crown of your head all the way up to stand. Beautiful job. Bring your feet together to touch. We're going to take chair pose. So chair pose, you want to keep your arms reaching away from your sits bones. So think that your middle fingers are reaching away from your sits bones. You sit down, find a chair. Literally, you're sitting in a chair. Now, a lot of people have some shoulder issues when it comes to chair pose with these arms. So if that's you, drive your elbows down and bring your arms to that open cactus. And you want to feel like your heart is still moving up and forward, right? So we're here. Press down with your feet, and you should be able to peel your toes up off of the floor here. And you don't have to be, in a perfect world, you're here. But you don't have to be there. This is fine too, right? A little tiny bend in the knees is absolutely fine. But make sure that your weight is back in the balls of your feet and your heels so you can peel your toes up off of the floor if you chose to do so. Beautiful. And then rise up to stand. And exhale, bring your hands to heart center. All of that to say, none of that was advanced, but if you're doing this, this can really get your heart rate going and maybe even break a sweat. And that is what I'm talking about when I say preparing the body to sit in meditation, right? Now, from here, let's come down to all fours where we began our movement. Coming down, all fours, and then send your hips back to your heels, taking a child's pose. This is like everyone's favorite pose, right? Reaching your hands really far forward, and just rest your forehead on your mat. Notice your breath, notice your thoughts, and see if you can slow your heart rate by controlling your breath. Slowly crawling your hands back towards your knees, and then have a seat, swinging your feet around to the top of the mat. We're going to take 2 more twists. So again, if you are pregnant, don't do these. You can do the legs, just don't do the upper body twist. 2 options here. You cross your right foot over your left knee, over your left leg. Now this might be it for you, right? You can hug your knee in nice and tight. This might be it for you. If you can do more, your left knee is going to bend in. I'm going to sit on a diagonal so you can see this, right? Like this. So this bottom leg can be stretched out or it can be bent in. If it's bent in, I want you to think about your right butt cheek down on the ground. From there, take your right hand, place it behind your back. Your left arm reaches up, grow tall, inhale, and then on your exhale, twist to the right, trying to hook your left elbow outside of your right knee, and then twist. So all of these twists are really great for digestion, detoxification, and spinal mobility, right? Because you have to grow tall, you have to extend your spine before you can twist your spine. 1 more breath in, and then exhale, slowly release it. Now wherever you were, just extend your legs long, and just feel what that feels like to just sit. In yin and restorative yoga, a lot of the class and a lot of yoga is spent with feeling the chi and the energy flowing through your body after you come out of the pose, when you're not doing anything. That's like my favorite part too. So now we'll take that other side twist, bend your left knee, and step your left foot over your right leg. Now again, you might stay here for your twist, or you might just hold here. If you are taking the bending of the right knee, go ahead, bend your right knee, bend it in underneath of yourself. Try and get your right or your left foot flat on the floor and your left butt cheek attached to the mat. Take your left hand, press it right behind the base of your spine. That will help you get yourself nice and tall. Inhale, bring your right fingertips up, and then on your exhale, drop your elbow, hook it around, and twist. You can also, if this is too much, you could also just bring your arm down and just like hold on to yourself here. If you can't get that elbow hook, you can just hold onto your thigh here. Keep pressing up, 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 and then twisting deep, 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 deep. Inhale, grow, exhale, twist. Inhale, grow, exhale, twist. Last one, inhale, and then on your exhale, gently release it. Extend both of your legs out to the front. Peel your toes back towards your face. Now, you might want to move some of the fleshy parts of your booty out to the side here. You can just pull them open so you can feel your sits bones firmly into the mat. Press your belly button in and back, and then lift yourself nice and high so we're sitting nice and tall. Now, you can stay here. You can reach your arms high, inhale. You can stay here. Or you can fold forward over your legs. Try and connect. The goal would be to get your belly button onto your thighs, your chest and your forehead onto your shins. It might not happen. That's okay. So we're coming down, 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 and then your hands can rest on the mat. They can hook around the bottoms of your feet if you are, again, if you're open. And everybody thinks that you have to have straight knees when you're doing these forward folds. You do not. You can slightly bend your knees to release your hamstrings a little bit so you can come down here and really feel the benefits of being folded in half, right? So if you're not so flexible, don't worry about having perfectly straight legs and being able to touch your toes, right? You can come down. And then just notice your breath here when you're in this forward folded position. Two more breaths. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale. And then exhale. Release. Slowly crawl your hands up your legs. And then from here, we're rolling down. Use your hands if you need to. coming down to everyone's favorite yoga pose, Shavasana. So Shavasana is corpse pose. You are literally doing nothing. If you are not comfortable closing your eyes, just try and relax your gaze. Don't look at anything. Just let your eyes become unfocused. And actually, same goes for if your eyes are closed. Try not to look at anything. Just be unfocused. Let your breath come naturally. We're not forcing any breath to happen. It's just coming in and going out. To come out of Shavasana, just slowly start to deepen your breath, bring more awareness to your space, and start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. And then draw your knees close to your body so you can walk your feet in. And then you can give yourself a little bit of a hug if this is something that can happen in your body. And then from here, we gently can just roll over to one side. Using your top hand, press yourself up and come back to a seated position where we started. It does not have to be the same seated position. It can be anything that's comfortable for you. And then take that soft gaze with your eyes again, or close your eyes. And again, find your sits bones, press them down into the earth. Draw your belly button in towards your spine, lift your heart, lower your shoulders, grow your earlobes away from your shoulders. And then your hands, bring them to touch your body wherever you're comfortable. Wherever you feel like you could use a little bit of gratitude and love today. And then just remember that whether we are experienced or not in something, whether we have done it 100 times or never tried, that trusting that our body will lead us through and trusting that the universe won't put anything in our path that is not meant for us is all that we can do. You can keep your hands where they are, or you can bring your hands to touch at heart center in a prayer. I thank you all for choosing to spend this 30-minute period with me and with one another and on yourself. On an inhale, lift your thumb knuckles up to your third eye center, right between the eyebrows. And on the exhale, bow your head, chin comes to your chest. Namaste.